my sister, you already know this is a red flag. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Jay, and I'm back again with another video. If you are new here or you're not subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for checking out this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I do upload a new video every Friday. If you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for checking out this video. I do appreciate your continued support. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So as you guys can see by the title, this is just going to be a video on dating, relationships, kind of like things I've learned, things I want to share with you guys, a couple of your questions. So we'll go through those at the end of the video. But if you see me looking down, it's because I have a list of notes. I just wanted to make sure I touched on everything that I felt was important for this specific video. So the first thing that I think is really important when you are interested in dating, or you know, you're newly single, whatever the case may be, is to really understand what dating is. In my personal opinion, it's getting to know different people. You go out for dinner, you go out for drinks, you go go-karting, you do whatever fun activity you both decide on, and you talk, you get to know each other. That's what dating is to me. Your intention behind dating is obviously going to differ based on what it is that you want at that point in your life. However, I think it's very important to make it clear to the other people that you are dating what exactly it is that you're looking for. So if you are dating with the intention of meeting someone to be in a relationship, make it be known. That way, anybody who doesn't align with that, you can go your separate ways and cut them loose. If you are simply dating for fun, just as a way to meet new people, make that known. That way you're not wasting anybody else's time who is seeking more, and you don't end up in an uncomfortable situation having to explain that to someone 8 weeks down the line and they're fully invested in you, because that can be, you know, a bit uncomfortable. It saves you a lot of headache and a lot of unnecessary chaos in your life. Trust me on this one, okay? Trust me. So I think that's like really important. And then another thing is really how to date. I feel like a lot of people aren't really sure on how exactly you go about dating people, or what it is that you need to say to people, or the things you should discuss, the things you shouldn't discuss. And the biggest thing that I will say is be open to meeting people in different settings, whether it's at the grocery store or whilst you're out with your friends. Try out dating apps if you've never tried them. Really give it a try. You can actually meet some really good people off dating apps. I know a few people who are now in long-term relationships or married to the people that they met on dating apps. So keep an open mind. As far as dating apps are concerned, I would highly encourage you to spend a couple minutes on your profile. Really make it reflect the person that you are, like things you would share with someone like on a first date is the type of information that I usually say you should put on your dating profile. So if you're into traveling, have a picture of you at your favorite destination. If you are an outdoor person, like you like hiking, you like kayaking, have a picture of you doing those activities. If you're someone who's big on reading books, maybe you can post a picture of you with your book collection. Whatever it is that you like, have your profile reflect that. Make sure they're clear pictures, they can clearly see your face. Smile. Everybody looks good when they're smiling, so I definitely recommend that. If you have a pet that you love, you know, post a picture with them as well. Spend a few minutes like formulating your bio as far as, you know, again, things you would tell someone on a first date. So it could be your favorite hobby. You could talk about your favorite food. You could make a joke if you're into cracking jokes. Just keep it in that sense. Make sure that you don't put any personal information that someone could use to find you off of a dating app, because the last thing you want is random strangers finding you in real life that you had no intention of meeting. So be very, very careful about that. And I'll touch on dating safety in just a few moments here. I would say it is important to prepare yourself to enter back into dating life, or to revamp your dating life in general. Prepare yourself with the fact that you are most likely going to be having very similar conversations with multiple people. It can initially seem a bit repetitive, but especially for like first dates, they tend to usually go somewhat similar. You know, you tell someone a bit about your background, the things you're comfortable sharing with them, and they will tell you the same things. It may vary obviously depending on each person's personality, but you do kind of have to prepare yourself that there can be a slightly repetitive nature to especially first dates. Keep it interesting, keep it exciting. You can switch things up however you see fit. I think that's really important. And now on the dating safety that I previously touched on, please do not let random strangers, people you don't know, come and pick you up at your house. Do not let them pressure you or push you into coming for dinner at their house or coming for dinner at your house. That is absolutely, I do not recommend that, because you don't know these people. You don't know what their intentions are for you. So to prevent a potentially bad situation, I would 100% advise against this. I would advise against telling someone your last name, on a first date, because again, that's information they can use to find you, and you genuinely don't know what someone's intentions are going to be. The first 3-4 dates, I would say, are good ways to kind of vet people, to kind of figure out, okay, cool, are we on the same page? Do you have a good vibe? Do we get along well? Do I want to see you again for a 5th date? I think that is the time where you can start sharing like somewhat more detailed information about yourself that you wouldn't share with someone on a first date. So those are like the main kind of pointers that I have to share. And I've learned this through being on dating apps. The first time I ever downloaded a dating app was end of 2014, and it was Tinder. Would not recommend Tinder now, because I know a lot of people use it as just a strictly hookup platform. If that is what you are into, then yes. If you're interested, if that's what you're looking for at the time, then for sure, go ahead, go on to Tinder. But if you're actually looking to date people, like looking to be actually courting someone, I would not recommend Tinder. Bumble and Hinge seem to have better success rates as far as meeting people. Another thing I would discourage against is meeting people on dating profiles and then talking to them for like 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks without ever meeting them in person. Don't get catfished. Otherwise, we will be watching you on MTV with Nev. Don't do that. So I would encourage you to meet the person, even if it's, let's say you can't meet them face to face as of yet, you can FaceTime them. You can literally get on a FaceTime call with them. And if they keep on making excuses, unmatch and keep it pushing, because chances are they are going to be a catfish. So just keep your 1s and 2s on you, like stay on your toes, make sure people aren't taking you like for a ride. Don't send anyone money for anything off of, please don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. As far as like preparing yourself to date, I think a really important thing to have is a standards list. And what I mean by this is it's just a list of things that you want in the next person that you are seeking to be in a relationship with. And again, this video is mainly going to be for people who are dating with the intention of meeting someone to be in a relationship with. So having a standards list is something that is so important. Be as detailed as you want to be, and be honest with yourself about the things that you like. There is no point in lying to yourself, because you'll be doing yourself a disservice. So be very honest with yourself. No matter how small it seems, no matter how shallow it seems to somebody else, it is not about anybody else. It is about you, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's going to be dating this person. So you may as well do what you want to do, right? So for example, like on my standards list, something that is a big thing for me is teeth. I'm a big teeth person because I like people who have beautiful smiles, and your teeth have to be clean. Get dental care. If you can afford it, get dental care. Get your teeth cleaned. You should be going to the dentist, I think, every 6 months. Getting your teeth cleaned, invest in a good toothbrush, that type of thing. That for me personally is non-negotiable, is good teeth. Like, it is non-negotiable. Whether it's, you got caps or crowns or whatever they call them, just have nice teeth. That is so big for me personally, non-negotiable. And then on my standards list, I don't just have physical traits, I have your personality traits as well. And a big one for me is kindness. At no point in time am I gonna date someone who is not kind. For me personally, kindness is the biggest thing. Not just kindness to me or respect for me, but for other people as well. Because at some point in time, that disregard that they have for other people is going to filter into your relationship with them, whether it's still in the dating stage or in the actual relationship stage. So be careful, be honest with yourself. The more clear you are about what you want, the easier it will be to filter out people who don't meet your standards. You should be doing this. And along with a standards list, you could also add like green flags and red flags. Now, I know that more often than not, we do discuss red flags, but I think it's important to also know what things make you comfortable, what things make you want to stick around and actually get to know a person. These are very, very important, because for me personally, for the longest time, I knew what I didn't want, but for me to say what I wanted, it was impossible. Like I wasn't really sure, but now that I know, it's made it a lot easier. Like if someone starts talking to me and like you say something that I'm not really vibing with, peace out. You gotta you gotta go. You gotta go. It's that simple. I'm not gonna waste my time. Absolutely not. And I'm not gonna waste your time because there is literally no point. So an example of like a green flag would be someone that you are able to have comfortable conversation with. You know, I think that's a very important thing, and that kind of touches on like just having a good vibe with them. Like they don't make you feel uncomfortable, kind of feel on edge, like you feel uneasy around them. Like you just feel, it feels like a good conversation. And I think another big green flag for me personally is like they make their intentions known. So they're very clear about whatever role they are trying to play in your life, what they want to be the outcome of the situation. I'm 26. I'm not interested in those, oh yeah, I just want to get to know you and kind of see where it goes. Okay, cool. That's mad generic. What is it that you are like from the people that you're dating? What is it that you want? Like, are you dating for fun? Because then, you know, I can hang it up flat screen and call it off. Like, we can end this today, immediately. So I think it's important so you know the person's intentions. That way, if they don't align with yours, you can leave it alone. Okay, go your separate ways. And then obviously, like as far as red flags are concerned, I feel like there's the big ones which I think are valid for me, valid for most other people. Let me say normal people, because there are some strange people out there. So for me personally, homophobia, transphobia, fat phobia, ableism, racism, colorism, sexism, please leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'm not going to entertain you on any level. I'm not going to do it. I do not like hateful people, and those are all hateful traits to have. And you know, an example of like another red flag is remember the time when it came out that Meg got shot and there were so many people making jokes about that? What is funny about that? What is funny about someone being harmed quickly? What is so funny about that? I had to block so many people off my social media, and this is something that I know to add to, you know, general getting to know someone conversation. Like, wow, wasn't it so crazy when XYZ happened? And depending on their response, they may not hear from me ever again. Because why is that funny? Why is someone else getting harmed funny to you? And some people were like, well, I don't do those types of things, but I think it's funny. No, you do those kind of things. You do. You participate in those type of things. You endorse that type of behavior, which is why you find something like that funny. And I just want to say, on par with red flags, don't try to turn red flags orange or light pink, or be like, well, I feel like red flags should be bright fire truck red and this one is kind of oxblood. My sister, you already know this is a red flag, and don't ignore them. Please, please, please do not ignore red flags, because further down along the line, you will actually really real life encounter that red flag, and it will be not a good experience for you. So I would encourage you. I know there are a lot of people who their red flags don't pop up until much later because they pretend to be very different people. Obviously, there's nothing that you can do about people like that. Like, there is nothing you can do. But I think to the best of your ability, if you see a red flag early on, absolutely exit stage left. Leave that person alone, because it is not worth your sanity. Another red flag for me is like guys who throw money at their problems, and it will become very apparent like when you're speaking to them about just about everyday situations. Like anytime there's a problem, their solution isn't to talk about it or see how it can be fixed. It's just money, money, money. Like, come on. Like, yeah, having money is nice, having money is cool, having money makes life easy, but your first step should not be solving your problems using your money. Like, that's no bueno for me. That's kind of like, I guess, would segue into the next thing, is kind of using the spirit of discernment when it comes to people who are stingy and people who are financially smart. There is a very, very big difference. And I think for me, the biggest difference comes in if I suggest, hey, let's go out for dinner to, let's go out to Bonefish Grill for dinner, and all you do the entire night is complain about the price of things. Please. If you can't afford something, you can always say, you know what, this is out of my budget, or it's more than I'm willing to spend. And that's fine. We can either move forward together or go our separate ways. And I think that's something that you need to distinguish very early on, because stingy people are a headache. And most people are like, well, if you have your own money, someone who's stingy is not going to be a problem. Yes, they are still going to be a problem. Trust me, there are still, you could have all the money in the world and being with someone who is stingy is going to be a headache for you, especially if you are not the same way. So keep that in your mind. Don't ignore the little things that you're like, well, we can kind of fix it. Don't date people for their potential. Date people for who they are, not the potential of, oh, well, they have potential. You are setting yourself up for failure. Don't do that. Another thing as well is people who badmouth their exes are such bad vibes. I cannot say this enough, like, especially when you didn't ask them for this information. Oh, my ex, she was crazy. She was out of her mind. She was this. I didn't ask you. I didn't ask you that. You're just volunteering this information. Also, why are you telling me I didn't ask you? I think it's very weird to volunteer bad information about something that I didn't ask you. I did not ask you. Why are you telling me? I didn't ask you. It's very bad vibes. And I can tell you, back in my younger days, in my youth, I'd be like, well, you know, maybe they just want to avoid being with the same type of person. And then later on, I realized, no, it wasn't your ex, it was you. And you're trying to make yourself look like the victim. I think for me, like, love bombing is another one that would kind of, it plays into people who try and like get you into like super like personal settings way too early. People who love bomb you are very scary. Like a week into it, they have pet names for you. You don't even know my last name and you have pet names for me, or like they're forcing way too much affection onto you within a week. Stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away, stay away. We've had so many conversations about this and I will never stop until everybody gets it. Love bombing is a precursor to some very bad things happening in that dating scenario, that relationship scenario. Just don't entertain it. Don't entertain it. Please don't entertain it. And just another thing that I find, and applies to this video as well, I'm not trying to make myself, you know, or other people excluded from this, but I think be very careful who you take dating advice from, because what applies for me may not apply for you, may not apply for the way you choose to live your life. So take everything with a grain of salt. The perfect example I can use of this, two of them actually at this present time, would be Derek Jackson and Kevin Samuels. Please, no one should be listening to anything either one of these people say for very, very obvious reasons. This has been explored by multiple people. Please don't listen to what they have to say, especially if you're a Black woman. Neither one of these people are people you want to be listening to, and I cannot stress this enough. Please, 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 please don't. And this also, I kind of want to touch on this because I just saw this on Twitter. If you meet someone on like a social media site like Twitter or Instagram, and there is someone who says very inflammatory things, very obnoxious things, and then they turn on and say, well, it's just the internet, it's just this, it's just that, that's not really how I am. Watch out for them, man, right there. Watch out, because why do you say bad things for attention? That's just, please move to the side and make way for normal people. Like people who pretend to be something that they're not on the internet. Very, very scary, like very scary vibes. Attention is not that serious. And the last thing that I'll touch on before I go into the questions and opinions that you guys shared with me would be people who ask you things like your body count. It's very weird. Like it is, they're never asking the right questions, and they always ask this question: you just met me, you just got my phone number inside of Trader Joe's, and now you're texting me on my iMessage asking me my body count. You don't even know my last name. You don't know where I grew up. You're asking, huh? Please leave people like that alone. It stinks, it smells, it's musty. I don't have to tell you why. Leave it alone. The questions, and I feel like there's no appropriate time to ask a person a question like that. The things you should be worried about are things like, when was the last time that you got tested? Instead of body count, that's when was the last time you got tested? When was the last time that you got, can we go and get tested together? Those are the questions you should be asking, not what is your body count? Can you actually stop? Like, please, please, these are people that, as they call them on Twitter, insults. Please leave those people alone. Don't entertain, unless you're one of them, then by all means, go and meet together in that corner. But please, if you're like the rest of us normal people who aren't invasive and in people's business like that, girl, don't. And let's start with the question. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading them off my screen. So the first one was, how long do you wait for someone to get their act together? And this is such a difficult question because it depends on the context of it. So I'll answer it in two ways. So let's say you're dating someone, you've been going on dates with them for 3 months is a good amount of time. And there's someone you'd want to be in a relationship with, but they're not seemingly making the move, asking you the questions. As my grandma always says, what is it that Google always says about, like, in the context of how long do you wait for someone to get their act together? What does she always say about guys?
I would tend to, you can tell.
Right? And you don't have to ask questions.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. I just wanted your input. But yeah, like that's literally it. If someone wants to be with you, you will know that. You're not gonna have to question it. And I feel like to a certain extent, if you have to ask, babe, you know the answer. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, you already know the answer. You know how that person feels about you. If you have to ask, I don't think that is a situation for you to be in. Obviously, tweak it for your own situation because you know how much patience you have. You know, once you are fed up, you will leave that situation. And then the next question, or this is rather a statement, dating is going out places with someone you're interested in. You usually talk and text for a while until it forms an actual relationship, or you both either decide you don't want it to go that far. And that's very true. I 100% agree on that. And I think the biggest part is you always start off by establishing what it is that you are seeking from the dating. Once you both know and you're on the same page, or you realize you're on different pages, cut it off, hang it up. Please let it go. Let that person go, because you are setting yourself up for a lot of heartache. Someone else said, you can date multiple people. Today's definition of dating doesn't mean you're in a relationship. And that's very true. Dating and relationships are two different things. Like I said, dating, aka courting, you can court multiple people. If you wanted to court 10 people, you are well within your right to do that, because again, you are simply getting to know different people. You're going out for dates, you're going out to have drinks, to have food. That is not a relationship. It is not a relationship, and you don't owe anyone any loyalty during a talking stage, during the dating phase. No, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, date the way that you see fit for you. Don't do it because people are like, well, dating multiple people is bad. No, if you are unable to get to know multiple people at once, that's one thing. But feeling shamed, feeling judged into dating one person at a time, don't do that to yourself. Trust me, as your friend, we are friends now. Don't date multiple people if you want to. If you want to date 10 guys named Jim, date 10 guys named Jim. It is well within your right. You are allowed to do whatever you want. Expecting someone to drop all the other people that they're talking to because you're dating, you're not in a relationship. No. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10 recommend. Relationships are different. Relationships are, hey, we've been dating, we've been, getting to know each other over 2.5, 3 months, 4 months, or however is enough time for you, and I would like it to be official, exclusive, just you and I were in a relationship. Then you drop your other people. Prior to that, live your life. And if they don't ask you that, continue living your life. This other stuff is not your business. Okay, until things are official, you don't owe that person any loyalty of not talking or entertaining to other people, because you could be blocking your blessings. And if they get, like, if you are dating, like you're on date 3, 4, 5, 6 even with someone, and they get upset at you for continuing to date other people and you're not in an official relationship, let them go. Set them free. Set them free, because that is very controlling behavior, and it's mad. It's weird. It's very weird. Dating doesn't mean you're in a relationship, but keep it real and the rest will follow. Very true. It 100% does not. Make sure you both know what outcome you are seeking. That way, if it doesn't align, you go your separate ways. Be honest with yourself. Be honest about what it is that you want, what it is that you don't want. Because what is the point of lying to yourself and lying to the other person? Because if you want, especially if you want to end up in a relationship, what was the point? That's how you end up dating the wrong person. Don't waste your time. Do not waste your time. And then someone else, this is more, I don't know if this is a question, a statement, dating outside of your race. What I will say about dating outside of your race, and I'm going to provide specific context for the answer that I give. For me personally, as a dark-skinned Black woman living in the US, I don't have the luxury of saying I only date within my race, because I am very much aware that there are people within my race who are colorist. So that cuts all of them out. They are not available to me because they hate the very thing that makes me, my skin color. So I personally abide by the philosophy of I date people who are interested in me and I'm interested in them. Does that mean I go out specifically seeking to date outside of my race only? No, because that's very weird as well. I think it's strange behavior to cut out your entire race. What? That's my personal opinion. I think it's weird. I think you really should date the people who like you and you like them back. Obviously, don't overlook the big things that I mentioned, like homophobia, transphobia, and then to add on to dating outside of your race, anti-blackness is a very real thing and it is a very serious thing. Don't overlook it. Please do not overlook it. Don't overlook racism either, especially if it's coming from them, from their friends, from their family. Please do not overlook it. And I think another thing as well is with dating outside your race, really think about your reasoning behind wanting to date outside your race. If you want to date outside your race because you want children with light eyes and curly hair, your vibe is bad. I hate to break it to you, your vibe is very bad. Your vibe is very weird. Dating someone for what your children may potentially look like is smelly behavior. It is so smelly. It is musty. I guarantee you smell like pickles. And I don't make the rules. I'm so sorry. But I think it's a very much weird. Like, it's very strange and you should get some help. But yeah, that's my thing on dating outside your race. Be open to it. And just don't be weird. Don't be a weirdo about it. Like, that's the only way I can summarize it. Stop being weird. And then someone else stated, next relationship, he has to live alone. And this is part of, like, you know, making a standards list. If you decide, hey, I want the next person I date to live by themselves because you want to have a place where you can just hang out, just the two of you, that is well within your right. No one can tell you anything otherwise. They really can't. Like, if that's something that you want, for sure. And I understand that. If you both live with your families, it can be tricky, like finding a place and a time where you can just hang out without having to worry about other people interrupting your hangout time. Like, you are well within your rights to want that for yourself. And I do know exactly who asked me this question or made this statement because we just spoke about it on the phone the other day. And then let's see. This is another kind of like touching on dating. I hate the fact that people don't really understand dating now. Back in the day, it was all fun, no strings attached. But now it's more sex driven and you're called a HOE if you're dating more than one person because relationships aren't real anymore and dating is as far as most people get. This is a very heavy statement and I will address two things. There are a lot of people who don't understand what dating is, but there are also a lot of people who know exactly what it is. And I feel like for the people who don't understand it, for some of it, it's willful ignorance and they treat different people different. That is true, but there are people who know exactly what it is and you have to find those people for yourself. And then no strings attached. And true, that is what dating should be. It should be fun. We go out, we have drinks, I go to my house, you go to your house, we call it a day. We see each other next week or we see each other 3 days from now. It's up to us. If you feel like participating in sexual behaviors as part of your dating life, that is completely up to you and that is your personal business. But not everybody is down for that. And I think that comes with the honesty. Be honest about the things that you want. And above all else, practice safety, get tested regularly, use protection. Please do not be reckless out here. It is a scary world out there. And then let's see. Relationships aren't real anymore and dating is as far as most people get. Honestly, relationships are very much real. And I'm only saying this because I know a lot of people. I think out of all of the people that I'm friends with, I think only me and one other person that I know are currently single and everybody else is either just started dating someone, has been in a long-term relationship. Some people are married with children. People are very much getting into relationships in real life. You have to find the people who are on the same page as you and want the same things as you. And I feel like if you are basing, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, and I hope you don't take offense to this, but if you're basing this based on social media is a vacuum and a lot of it is not indicative of what people are actually doing in real life. So that's what I will say about his relationships are very much still alive, still very much present. It's just that the way that some people define relationships for themselves is very different. And you cannot base relationships definition from, 20 years ago to apply to now because people change, societies change, but whatever values you hold true to yourself as far as dating and relationships are concerned. Find someone who is on the same page as you. That is the most and biggest takeaway that I have for you. Someone said, it's ghetto, it's confusing, and leads to situationships unless you make it clear at the start we're dating with the end goal of being in a relationship. And that's very true. I did say this. Make sure that you know what you want and the other person knows what you want. And if they're shaky, if they're unsure, if you feel like they're wasting your time, hang it up, disappear, leave them alone. You don't have to entertain them. If someone is doing something that you don't like, you genuinely leave it alone. For your sake, for the sake of your sanity, let it go. Let it go. Don't bring chaos into your life. If someone says they're not looking for a relationship and you are, and you continue entertaining them, you are going to have problems further down the line. And I don't want that for you. I always get I'm too chill and that I'm better off as a friend instead of a girlfriend. This is something that I understand what you're saying. And the biggest thing that I can only say about this is please don't change yourself or change your personality to suit what these people have to say, because at the end of the day, your personality traits is what makes you who you are. And the right person or the right people, because it may not even just be one person, the right people will enjoy that about you. The right person will enjoy that about you, will enjoy every single aspect of your personality. Okay. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope this was somewhat informative for you. Let me know if it was helpful. If it wasn't, I'm sorry, I don't know. But let me know your comments. Let me know, how do you feel about dating? What has your experience with dating been like? Where do you live? You know, what statements do you have to share? What are the questions do you have? Because maybe I'll make a part 2 to this and we can go a bit more in depth about specific topics. Like if you want to specifically talk about love bombing, I can do that. I can make that happen. So let me know. But thank you so much for tuning into this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.